Let's begin indeed. Hello people, so Jerry speaking. World TheCrazyBunch's web shows number 124. Today we're doing not one, not two, but 3, 4, 5, 12 dev topics along with some free news reports to share. And one thing I wanted to discuss here on TheCrazyBunch's web shows number 124. Here we go. Let's talk about John Singleton. Born John Martin Singleton, something like that. He was an English journalist and broadcaster. He was known for his work as a presenter and reporter on ITV Breakfast Television, TVAM, TV, and Daybreak. In addition to hosting nationwide watchdog for the BBC, Singleton won the Royal Television Society's news presenter in the World Year Award for 2003 and was married to presenter Lynn Forrest Wood. Together they present Watchdog from 1985 to 1993. He was born in Oxfordshire, England on February 24th, 1946. His father, Frank, was secretary of the local cooperative, and his mother, June, was a part-time primary school teacher. He was educated at Diggle Primary School, Homley Grammar School, Oldham, and St. Paul John's College at Former Education, Manchester, England, where he took A levels in his class. He did not go to university at all, but started working at a training before the age of 17 on the now defunct Always and Paragraph, some of that journal. Anyways, he was later indebted to the Oldham Evening Chronicle, something like that, for 3 years before moving on to the Daily Sketch, first in Manchester and then in London. His career began with this. On local newspapers in northwest England, before becoming a staff reporter on the Daily Sketch in Fleet Street, something like that. Anyway, his first job in television was a researcher and sports scriptwriter on Business of Your Life, presented at the time by Emmett Andrews. He was gradually working as a reporter on the Thames Television Channel, which is a news magazine show, something like that, today, from 1971 to 1975. In May 1972, he reported at the Today programming of the very last Speedway meet, the famous West Ham track. He joined the BBC nationwide program in 1975 as a reporter on something like that. Then he became one of the main presenters from 1977 to 1980, something like that. While nationwide, he also carried out major renovations into Constable Corporation in South Wales, presenting wagons in Northern Ireland. He also compared a number of one-off live entertainment shows for BBC, including Miss United Kingdom Beauty Pageant. From 1980 to 1983, he was correspondent for the BBC's production News Night programmes, reporting trouble spots such as the Middle East and El Salvador, before working for 3 months as New Night correspondent in Argentina during the Falklands War. From 1983 to 1985, so that he worked at TVAM as a reporter and presenter of the Good Morning Britain. In 1986, Singleton rejoined the BBC, where he presented the BBC One peak time conservative programming Watchdog, something like that, along with his wife until 1993, something like that. He was also presenter for the BBC's Breakfast Time until in 1986. His programming transferred to news focus formats, but anyway. In 1993, Singleton returned to ITV following the live morning talk show, The Time, The Place, and for 4 years, he presented the ITV Sunday morning programming My Favorite Time, something like that, in which he interviewed a wide variety of guests with a faith in the impact on their lives. Archbishop Desmond Tutu, Earl Spencer, Princess Michael of Kent, the former South African President F.W. Key Clark, and the author Michelangelo, and Carson Street's William Quote were among his many guests. In 1998, Singleton joined the ITV breakfast programming GMTV. He was there on the NewsHour. And in 1997, he along with Sir Trevor McDonald, presented the live and controversial monetary debates in the ITV in front of 3,000 people at Birmingham's National Examination Center and at GMTV. He's also anchored major news stories. Among them, the war coverage of that, where he was based in the board covering the every Congress of that. This involved his anchoring 4 American elections: the Boxing Day, 2004 Tommy and presidential. So anyway, tsunami, I pronounce it. In Southeast Asia, Pope John Paul II's funeral in Rome, and Hurricane Katrina in New Orleans, Louisiana. In 2003, he appeared at the celebrity edition series Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, alongside GMTV colleague Ryan Kelly. This episode aired on April 19th, 2003, where they won £8,000 for charity. Wow. In 2004, let me scroll down a little bit, he was named the Royal Television Scottish News Presenter of the Year. Rogers worked at GMTV, covered the 2003 war in Iraq, and interviews he conducted the political party leaders, including then Prime Minister Tony Blair. He returned to Iraq to front 2 special programs at GMTV for that commemorating the 5th anniversary of the war. Wow. He was also a reporter for the primetime ITV Tonight programming. He was also, I've heard as over the years, presented many regional news and current affairs with that programming, including the BBC's London Plus, facing South Meridian and Central Weekend Live for Central TV. He also interviewed with many British Prime Ministers, began with James Collier in the 1970s. It was one of the contributors to the BBC series Grubby Old Man. Presented free partial divisions programming: ITV Central, The Lobby, surrounding the Midlands, Lazarus, and ITV Port Yorkshire, the London Debate, Trajectory of London, and the South East. In 2010, he joined the newly established ITV breakfast programming Daybreak as a special correspondent. During his time with the programming, Simonson was also a part-time presenter. In 2014, it was announced that Daybreak would come to an end after 4 years of broadcasting. It would be replaced by a new breakfast programming for Good Morning Britain. It would remain until July 2015. He worked in radio, spent time with other presenters of LBC, special conferences, appeared on TV, and part on the BBC News channel, and wrote for newspapers. Personal life and death. Her back in the background. Please ignore that. But anyway, move on. He met his then teacher wife, Lynn Falls, more than 1971. When still working at her second job and barman in the Richmond Public House. They live in St. Margaret's and were married for 43 years until her death in 2020 at the stroking age of 72. The couple had a son named Nick, born in 1987, who works as a documentary producer and is best known for being part of the team as BBC One's Scam Interceptors. He only had one kidney from this fraction for popularity. In April 2008, he revealed the report BBC's The One Show. He was younger than she suffered from the eating disorder, Norwegia. He was supported in Manchester City for more than 60 years. Wow. Ever since he was small, he took him to see St. Matthews play called for Blackpool against City on the old main road throughout in the 50s. And in October 2024, Simonson announced he was been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, having made a radio appeal for the Parkinson's Disease Society in 2009. As part of the 2009 campaign, he also, along with Jane Asher, Jeremy Paxson, pledged to donate his brain to Parkinson's research following his death. He died in hospital on September 21st, he died in hospital today, following commissions of a benign condition. John Singleton was only 79 years old. The next step topic has to do with J.D. Twitch. Born, I gotta get this out of the way. Martin Steve S. MacGyver. Better known as Ow. Excuse me. Anyway, I have something in my foot here. Anyway, better known as J.D. Twitch. Was a Scottish DJ, record producer and label founder. Best known as one half of the duo Octobio, with Johnny Wilkes. Called culture in the late 80s, he was central figure of the Glasgow's dance scene and became an internationally recognized as general crossing approach to DJing. Born in 1968 in village Burial in the outskirts of Edinburgh, where he was also raised, he moved to Glasgow in 1986 to attend university. He became involved in the club culture across both cities. Eventually DJ Outro and EBM, something like that. In Brawl before embracing house and techno during the acid house era. His career began with this. In the early 90s, MacGyver co-founded a club night called Par, something like that. Which became the key event in Scotland's early house and techno movement. Operations began in 1997. MacGyver and Wilkes launched Apio, a Glasgow for short, a Sunday night event at Glasgow's sub-club named after the Liquid track partials for that. Anyway, scored one of Glasgow's most beloved club nights. It ran until 2010 and become renowned for its adventurous programming and hosting art, including LCD, sound system, TV on the radio, Grace Jones, and Reese Scratch Perry. Well, according to DJ Max, like that, the party set was a new standard for clubbing for his with its furious programming and exclusive policies, like that. Anyway. Pushing everything to techno and retro post-punk to disco, folk, and even pop classics. I'm not a huge fan of some of it, but wow. With the crosslook and experiment, wow. Over the next 15 years, they toured internationally, performing in their numerous clubs and festivals while holding investments at venues such as Berkeley Suite and Joss Glasgow and Phoenix products in London. Wow. MacGyver also organized events in Glasgow such as Bucky Snack, focused on Jamaican sound system culture with Wilkes, and Solo, featuring on industrial cold wave, mental sniff, and array genres. Wow. Some of those events also supported the local food banks. In 2024, the duo marked the 25th anniversary of the club night with a two-part double vinyl compilation. Through the release of DJ Bad, Kristen J. called Apollo 25 to tell history, to distill the energy to more than 500 events into a snapshot of the music that believe is then and staying by now. Production label work. MacGyver gained recognition as sole artist, at least on the labels, including Let's Get Lost, Jewel Records, and Halfway Records. Been a short period signed to Major Records in the early 2000s, and is that the producer and remixer, creating over 200 remixes for artists such as Franz Ferdinand, something like that, Robert Murphy, Manic Street Pop Preacher, something like that, and Florence and plus Steve Machine. So anyway, let's look at it. He's also worked with other secretary outlets, including Tomorrow the Rain Will Fall Upwards, Dispelgum, and Beauty Bay Buttocks. MacGyver founded the label Observe Music in his suburbs, others with music, digital dance sports, audio tracks, solo, and against bathroom tracks. It's releasing a wide range of material, including Brazil focused stereo discos. The label was known for its diverse an experiment catalog that was released by Factory 4, Chris Carter, and St. Sapso. Potential was also critical and notable coordinations such as How to Kill the DJ Part 2. Wow. In 2019, he was presenting the soundtrack of The Beats in 2019, a film set in Scotland's 1990s rave scene. Illness and death. In July 2025, he was announced he was been diagnosed with a treatable brain tumor. He died at Prince and Princess of Wales Hospital in Glasgow last Friday. He was 57 years old. My next step topic has to do with Mike Wilford. Born Michael Wilford, he was an American jazz pianist and composer. He was a combination with singers Sarah Vaughan in 1979 and Ella Franklin in 1989 and 1984. He was also best known for in the jazz community, going back to the 1960s with albums such as Sparkling Wine and Summer Night. He was also performed with Shortly Rogers, Bud Stagg, Joe Paz, Shelley May, Kenny Burley, and Jude Zims. He was born in San Antonio, Texas on February 28, 1938. At the age of 5, he and his mother moved to San Diego, California. Wow. At the age of 7, he began taking classical piano lessons in the local music store. Wow. He admired men such as Ballard Bark, Iger Swami, Paul Hammersmith, John Cage, and Art Tatum, something like that. Anyway, Wilbur was introduced to jazz by a commission of his mother, who had been a professional singer prior to being married and radio. Wow. Wilbur attended Point Moment High School, where he ran this love of jazz and sophomore, and he played in area bands with men such as John Gorson, John Sleep, and Jerry Weber. At the age of 19, the San Diego Symphony performed 2 compositions of his, which is he written for the age of 14 and age 18 respectively. He attended San Diego State Year of College, but dropped out of a semester due to lack of devotion. In 1959, he accepted the invitation of to play in our Wesley's band, the White House All Stars, at the Los Angeles. He was featured at the pianist and Mel Farms' 1962 album, Coming Home Baby. Through an association with Albert Nelson, he's also won a TV film score for work such as MASH, M-A-S-S for short, Godfather Part 2, The Murphy Griffin Show, Bill Cosby Show, and You Got Mail. He also did pop music sessions for features such as Joan Baez, The Jackson 5, John Lennon, and Cher. Anyways, 1964, record producer Albert Marks discovered Wilford and signed him to this trio. John Gardner on drums and John Jones on bass to Epic Records. In 1966, Wilford released his first solo album, Strawberry Blonde, which released critical acclaim. He continued to tour in various production artists and release recordings before moving back to San Diego in the late 70s. Excuse me, going. He continued to work with the production artists, including George Lewis, Sergio Manis, but not anyway, Quincy Jones, James Moody, Harry Nelson, Zoop Zims, John Clemens, but anyway, Sarah Vaughan, and Alla Flexigard. Became the latter two's pianist and conductor from 1979 1983 and 1989 1984 respectively. In 2000, Wilford married flutist Harry Faulkman. They recorded 2006 duo album together at the Hollywood Music and Arts Library in the San Diego neighborhood of La Jolla. The couple had 3 children, Melissa, Christopher, and Michael Wilford Jr. He died in hospital Maria on September 19th on last Friday. He was 87 years old. My next topic has to do with Roger Clipston. Born that name, he was a British-born and Australian music personality who served a lengthy career in both radio and television. As a journalist and reporter, announcer, newsreader, weather presenter, and host, he has started his career as an actor and radio, but also appeared in theater and television productions, but both on his mainstream music media career, he went to Christian Broadcasting. Wow. He's also a news presenter of both the 9 Network and 7 Network, from 7 News in the 1980s and 1990s, and hosted most such shows as the local version of This Is Your Life and true crime series as Australia's Most Wanted. He was born on October 18th, 1931, Perth Bar, England. Wow. The son of a butcher, his aim became a pilot in the Royal Air Force to a Soviet Union accident at the age of 14, puncturing his lung. Wow. Leading him to take action instead of flying. Wow. He emerged with Australia in 1954. He died and met his future wife Claire at the Christmas party in 1952. Radio theater career began with this. Christmas started his career vocally in theater and radio. Appeared in radio series including classic theater, Gerald Mars Hour, When the Girl Marries, something like that. Like to Be Beautiful and Partial Faces Life, as well as narrate Tarzan. Wow. Planet of the Apes. And it's also appeared on a number of theater plays at the ABC, Australian Broadcasting Corporation for sure. Anyway, his television career began with this. He also guest roles on television serials like Homicide, You Can't See Round Corners. He began his television career in 1956, working at Channel 9 as the announcer, weatherman, and newsreader. He also got a good job at 9 as his friend Brian Henderson at the time was head of network Bruce Gerald. Working during his time at 9, he hosted 2 programs of his own, and with Roger and the House and Garden Show. Chris left the Channel 9 in 1965 after Chairman Sir Frank Packer refused to get rid of him the £5 pay raise. He returned to acting in plays such as Big Kill in 1965, which filming described him as having the time of his life. Chris found himself briefly unemployed and working in his father's butcher shop after he was asked to fill the temporary newsreader role at Channel 7, where he stayed for 15 years. And in 1977, Crimson presented the afternoon shift at Sydney's 2GB. In the same year, he began hosting This Is Your Life to return to newsreading in 1978. In 1982, Crimson retired from news television work, but returned to the stage in 1989 as actor the anchor of Sydney's 7 News to a diagnosed prostate cancer in 1994 November. Forced his temporary retirement, and Sayers replaced him the following year. In 1997, he was hosting Australia's Most Wanted, which lasted until 1998, when he retired for television. Post-retirement, briefly returned to host a TV documentary in 2015. In Christian radio began with this. Christian involved in Christian radio broadcast career began between 1995 and 2004, chairman of the Christian Broadcasting Association, was in the Sydney Christian radio station Hope 103.2. His artists began on Australia Day 2004. He was awarded the Medal of Honor of Australia, OAM for short. He died in Sydney, New South Wales, last Wednesday. He was 93 years old. The next step, Tom has to do with Riff McCauley, born Raphael Ronald McCauley. He was a Canadian and American television and theater producer. Later, the managing director of MC, co-founded the Fabulous Palm Strings Pollies, which performed in the historic Plaza Theater with downtown Palm Springs, California for 23 seasons until it closed in 2014. Born in 1948 in New York City, grew up in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Wow. He ran away from home at the age of 15, joined the circus, and worked in the clown that year. He was serving the job as a radio announcer, CJ LKL, something like that, in Troy Lake, Ontario. He then moved to the city television, CHCH TV in Hamilton, something like that. Anyway, produced some of the station's early 40s in television syndication, including the Ray Day Show, which he created in 1961, The Latest House of Frankenstein, which he co-created with his brother Mitch in 1971, and Party Game. He also was an on-air television personality, both in his style of Ray Day Show, as announcer regarding Westbound and Party Game. He was also producer of Wolfman Jack Show. He's co-founder of the early Canadian paid television program channel First Choice in 1983. He has also moved to Los Angeles, where he produced music varieties and comedy specials for HBO in the late 70s and early 80s, including specials such as featuring Neil Simon, Tony Curtis, Red Skelton, and of course George Burns. In 1983, same year anyway, he co-created and executive produced the mystery series Hitchhiker on HBO. He moved to Palm Springs in 1991, planning to retire. But considering the interest of Peter, led to an offer to restore a vaudeville theater, which became his home. The Father's Palm Springs Follies became home to Follies, not Palm Springs Follies. Rich Morris died after a short illness on September 17, 2025. He was 86 years old. The next step top has to have Maren Hargreaves. Anyway, born Mary Gail Hansen. She was an American newspaper columnist, writer Grand Forks Herald. She was with the paper from 1957 with her husband Jack Harvey, 1918, 1997. Became editor of the paper, which she got her measure of fame in March 2012 with her review of the new Olive Garden restaurant in Garden Oaks, North Dakota, was noticed by online news or green measures and became the overnight sensation. Wow. Among both critics and admirers. Anthony Bourne announced the plans to publish her arguments on that. In his imprint, Anthony Bourne Echo Books, especially in her 2015 book, Grand Forks, A History of American Dying, 2028 reviews, which Bourne wrote the foreword. He also awarded the 2012 Al Martz Award for his excellence in the media. In 2017, she was received the UND Spirit Award, best album of the UND. Sorry to hear that in the background. The UND Anomaly Associates of Foundations. She was awarded the honorary degree for the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks in 2021. Agri appeared as a great guest and Quick Fire Challenge judge and Top Chef Seattle, even the famous Come Home. She was born in Prairie, South Dakota on May 30th, 1926. She was a Danish descent, and her son, James, she was her husband, had two daughters. Gail Airy, born 1953, board president judge in South Central General District of North Dakota, whose husband Dale Stantrom, was the judges of the North Dakota Supreme Court, and Carol Ware, born 1954 until 2011, a lawyer. During 1997 friend of Forks Blood, Jack and Marin Hargreaves evaluated the Brandbrooks Marin area, where Jack died on June 13th, 1997. Anyway, move on. In September 2021, age of 95, she was reported to be recovered from the experience manager Anyway, pause where everybody announce it. She died at the hospital of Grand Forks last Tuesday. She was 99 years old, causing a stroke. Wow. Now Margaret Henry, then Margaret Hansen, began her career in the 40s, okay? When she was high school student and worked for the Prairie, South Dakota Capital Journal. She graduated with a degree in journalism for the University of South Dakota, where she also worked for the paper. By the 70s, she and her regular column and was about to also begin a column in the historical sense. Anyway. She's also that's reminded me. Anyway, she's also reviewing restaurants in the East by 1976. She retired full-time in the newspaper in 1991, but still came back to a part-time schedule for the full-time work world. Harry wrote 5 columns in the paper. Anyway, and did not consider herself a food critic. Wow. Now, collections. 3 collections of Hargreaves columns has been published. Echoes, a selection of stories of columns by Hargreaves 1984, 246 pages. Wow. Best of Mary Hargreaves 2012, self-published ebook, and finally Grand Forks of History of American Diet 128 reviews 2013. The 2012 Irish Garden Review. Now, I'm going to say this and then we'll move on to the next step topic. Anyway. In March 2012, I gotta correct my finger a little bit. But March 2012, for an E-Beat column, Hargreaves wrote a review and regularly opened of Garden Restaurant in Grand Forks. The review was overall positive, saying that the chicken Alfredo, $10.95, was warm and it confirmed that the cold day. Calling the Olive Garden the largest, most beautiful restaurant not operating in Grand Forks. Blog started leaking the review the day after it was published, doing nothing ironic. Positive review of the chain restaurant. In the interview, she said that she was fazed by the attention, but she found much of the rather concerning. She appeared on Anderson on March 20th, 2012, something like that. It was interviewed on CNN and ABC. So James R. Hackley reported in the Wall Street Journal, wrote an article in the newspaper about her newfound fame. He's known that she doesn't like to be anything bad at all in the reviews. And she writes more about the food you might want to eat somewhere else. Exactly. The next step topic has to do with Robert Redford, born Charles Robert Redford Jr. Anyways, he was an American actor, director, and producer. He was known for the lead man for gay stardom during the American New Wave at the time. Early career was born in 6 decades at the time. He received numerous awards, including Academy Award, a British Academy Award, 5 Golden Globe Awards, including the Cecil B. DeMille Award in 1994. Rivers also received numerous honors, including the Screw's Actor Globe Life Achievement Award in 1996, Academy Award, Academy Award in 2002, Academy Central Honors 2005, Central Presidential Medal of Freedom 2016, and Honorary Caesar in 2019. He began her career in television in the late 50s. Appearances in technology series such as Alfred Hitchcock Presents and Twilight Zone. He made his Broadway debut in Neil Simon's comedy Barefoot in the Park in 1963. Anyway. But newlywed opposite Elizabeth Ashley. Wow. Now, he soon transferred to film, taking roles in Warehouse in 1962 and Inside Daisy Clover in 1965, before achieving stardom in Barefoot in the Park in 1967, and Butch Cassidy in The Strangest Kid in 1969. He saw a performance in Downhill Racer in the same year, Gemini Johnson in 1972, The Candidate in the same year in 1972, and The Sting in 1973, starring him with one of Hollywood's leading actors, would later earn him an Academy Award nomination. Stardom in the comedy continued with the films such as The Way War in 1973, Great Gatsby in 1974, 3 Days of the Color in 1975, All President's Men in 1986, Electric Horseman in 1979, Natural in 1984, Now of Africa in 1985. Rare credits include this: Sneakers in 1992, Initial Personal in 1993, Always Lost in 2013, Truth in 2015, I Sold at Night in 2017, and The Old Man and the God in 2018. Now, he also played actor Pierce in MCU films. Captain America, The Winter Soldier in 2014, and this is a stupid movie I will not talk about this at all. I want it to be broke. Avengers Endgame 2019. The Larry serves his final on-screen role. Wow. Now, anyway, Redford made his director's debut with the family drama Ordinary People of 1980. which won 4 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, Best Director. Anyways, he directed credits, including the March Bean Field War 1988, World Runs Through in 1992, Quiz Show 1994, Horse Whisperer 1998, and the Rage of Bagger Vance 2000. Manager of Vance in independent cinema, Redford co-founded the Sundance Institute and the Sundance Film Festival in 1938, and helping to support a new generation of filmmakers like me. Anyways, behind his artistic career, he was known as the Oswald activist in support of Native American mental rights, bashing the LGBTQ community equally. He was born on August 18, 1946, in Santa Monica, California. The modern Woodruff Redford Nee Hart, 1914-1955, who was in Austin, Texas, and Charles Robert Redford Sr., 1914 to 1991, and that count. He had part half-brother William. Redford was Irish, Scottish, and English Scottish with that. His great-great-grandfather, a partial Englishman named English Redford, married Mary Ann Gray of Irish descent, Manchester, something like that. They emerged in New York City, in America, in 1849. Okay? Immediately settling next to in Saugus, Connecticut. They have a son named Charles. Wow. The first of the line that have been given name. Reginald Robert, Reginald Rivers, with that, white guys, with that. The Hart was Irish, the Gays, and the Greens were Scottish-Irish, with that. Was throughout the United States in the 18th century. Wow. Redford's family lived in Van Nuys, with his father working in Scottish with that. As a child, he and his family often traveled to Austin to visit his maternal grandfather. Redford credited his appreciation and love of the nature of this child in Texas. Wow. Okay, good enough. He attended Valdez High School, where he was classmates with baseball pitcher Don Drysdale. Wow. He described himself as having been a bad student. I feel worried, you know. Find inspiration outside the classroom and out on sports. He had tennis balls with Patrick Garnos and the Los Angeles Tennis Club to help Garnos warm up the matches. Then Redford had a mile chase of polio when he was 11 years old. After graduating from high school in 1954, he attended the University of Colorado at Boulder for a year and a half, where he was a member of the John College Cinema Fraternity. While there, he was working at a restaurant bar called The Sink. While painting likeness now figures probably among the bar's morals from that. While Colorado, Redford began drinking heavily. Oh wow. And it was a result, lost his scholarship, and was expelled from school. I don't know why, but that's just me. Anyways, he went on to travel to Europe, living in France and Spain and Italy. He went to study painting at the Pratt Institute in Brooklyn, New York. Took classes in the American Academy of Dramatic Arts, class of 59, in Manhattan, New York. Wow. His career began with this, okay? From 1959 to 1966, early roles, okay? Redford's acting career began in New York City, where he was working both on stage and on television, okay? His Broadway debut was a small role in Tall Story in 1959, followed by Parks and Highest Tree in the same year, and Sunday in New York in 1961. His biggest success in Broadway was as the studied newlywed husband of Elizabeth Ashley in the 1953 cast in New Simon's film, Barefoot in the Park. Starting in 1960, Redford appeared as a guest star in numerous television drama programs, including Naked City, Maverick, The Untouchables, The Americans, something like that. Whispering Smith, Perry Mason, Alfred Hitchcock Presents, World 66, the Dr. Killware, Playhouse 900, something like that. Nine, excuse me. Tate, Twilight Zone, Bergen, and Captain Bronson's combination among others. Anyways, he made his screen debut in the film adaptation of Tall Story in 1960, spawned his Broadway role. though he was not credited. The film starred Evan Perkins, Jane Spada, and Ray Watson, something like that. After his Broadway success, he was cast in larger feature roles in movies. In the same year, 1960, he was cast in Day 12 for a married disturbed young man trapped in the reverie of his family garage. Wow. In Breakdown, he was one of the last episodes in the syndicated adventure series Risk 8, starring Jim Davis and Wayne Jeffries. Wow. He also appeared as an Emmy nomination as Best Supporting Actor for his performance in the voice of Charlie Point at ABC in 1982. One of the last television appearances until 2019 was on October 7, 1983, was on Breaking Point at ABC, medical drama about psychology. Wow. In 1962, same year, anyway, Weber received the second film role in War Hunt, and was cast soon after alongside screen legend Alec Guinness, something like that, in the war comedy Situation Hopeless But Not Serious, in which he played a U.S. soldier falsely a prisoner by a German civilian even after the war has ended. And Inside the Daisy Clover in 1985, which won him the Golden Globe for Best New Star. He played a bisexual movie star and who marries Sarah Naturally Wood, and rejoined her with Charles Boston with Cindy Pollack. This probably was committed in 1966. Again, was a lover, but this time as a film was achieved even greater success. In the same year, he saw this burst teaming on equal footing with James Bond and Albert Pence of Chase. The film marked the only time Redford starred with Marlon Brando. 1967 to 1979. Anyways, Fawn and Redford were paired again in popular film big screen version of Barefoot in the Park in 1967. Anyways, there were again co-stars in dozens of years later in Pollock's Electric Horseman in 1979, followed 38 years later with Netflix feature of Souls at Night. After his initial success, Weber became concerned about his blonde male stereotype image. Infused roles in Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf and The Graduates, like that. Weber found his niche. It was seeking the George Roy Hills, but casting The Sundance Kid in 1999, script of William Goodman, in which he was paired with the first time with Paul Newman. Wow. The film was a huge success and made him the major bankroll star, spreading his screen image and his talented, regible, sometimes scarlet good guy. While Redford did not receive an Academy Award Golden Award nomination bearing The Sundance Kid, something like that, he won a British Academy Award, a film television award, BAFTA for short, but that fit role and his part as Daniel Racer in 1999, telling who Willie Boy is here the same year. The later two films were success Will Foss and Big Hustler in 1970, and The Hot Rock in 1972. That was not commercially successful at all. Redford was long-haired, bodied among the work on both sides of the camera. As early as 1969, Redford has served as an executive producer for Downhill Racer, Pergo Circular Canada 1972, with moderate box office and critical success. In 1973, starting in 1973, Redford experienced an almost unparalleled 4-year run in box office successes. The Western Gemini Johnson in 1972, box office earnings from early 1973 until its second release in 1975, where Bob is placed in the second highest grossing film in 1973 ever. Its romantic period drama with Barbra Streisand, The Way We Were in the same year, was the fifth highest grossing film in the same year. The Graham Shaver William Paul Newman, The Stain in the same year, 1973, became the gross-going film in 1974, one of the top 20 highest grossing movies of all time when adjusting to inflation. It was also landed Redford won nomination for his career for the Academy Award for Best Actor. Wow. The following year, he starred in the romantic drama The Great Comedy in 1974. It's also starring Mia Farrow, Sam Wilson, and Bruce Dern. Some of that. This film was the 8th highest grossing film in the same year, 1974. Bruce Cassidy and the Sun's Kid in 1969 placed as the 10th highest grossing film in the same year, 1974. As a release due to the popularity of The Sting in 1974. Redford became the first performer since Bing Crosby in 1946 to have 3 films in the year's top 10 grossing titles. Each year became between 1974 and 1976. Movie service by Redford Hollywood's top box office star. Some of that. Anyway. 1975, Redford hit movies including the 1920s adventure drama The Great Robert Prepper the same year. Inspired for 3 Days of the Quarter the same year alongside Faye Dunaway, which finished 16 and 17 for the box office gross in 1935 respectively. In 1936, he co-starred with Dustin Hoffman, the second highest grossing film of that year. Critics acclaimed All the President's Men. So we got. And that's in the same year, 1936. Redford published The Outlaw Trial, a Journey Through Time. So we got. Redford would say The Outlaw Trial, the name of that foundation, something like that, a journal anchor in Western folk something like that. Whether real or imagined, it was named that for me, held a kind of magic, a freedom and mystery I wanted to see in much the same way that Walls did, by horse and by foot. Dominate the adventure with text and photographs and like that. All the principles men with which Redford and Hoffman played Washington Post reporters Bob Warford and Charles Bernstein was a mind-marking film of Redford. Not only was he executive producer and co-star, but the film was a serious matter, the Watergate hearing scandal. Robin and Jim did this anyway, if you wonder. But anyway, if you watch Robin and Jim Heaven, it's for you. But anyway, it was an attempt to create a realistic, on PBS. But anyway, next, an attempt to create a realistic portrayal of journalism who also reflected the actors' off-screen concerns for professional causes. The film landed 8 Academy Award nominations. Wow. Including the Best Picture and Best Director, Alan J. Parga. While winning for Best Screenplay Goldman, it was New York's Film Critics at the award for Best Picture and Best Director. In 1977, Redford appeared in a separate award film called The Bridge Too Far in the same year, 1977. He took a 2-year hiatus from movies before starring the past his prime rodeo star in adventure romance Horseman in 1979. Film reunited with him with Fonda, finishing number 9 in the box office in 1980. 1980 to 1998, directorial debut. Redford's first film as director was a drama film, Ordinary People, of 1980. A drama about the slope destination of the upper middle class family and about the death of the son. Redford was credited with operating the powerful, dramatic performance with Mary Tyler Moore. Wow. So that was a Superbird work. Anyway, with Donald Superman and Tony Hawkins, Timothy Hawkins. But anyway, he also won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor. Anyways, the film was one of the most critically and publicly acclaimed films of the decade, winning 4 Academy Awards, including Best Director for Redford himself and Best Picture. Critic Roger Ebert declares an intelligent, receptive, and deeply moving film. Later that year, he appeared in the prison drama Burger in 1980, playing a prison warden attempting to reform the system. Soon afterwards, he appeared in the baseball drama The Natural in 1984. St. Pollux out of Africa in 1985, with Redford main role opposite Meryl Streep, became a large box office success. Combined 1985-1986 gross place in the number 5 for 1986. Won the Golden Globe for Best Picture and won 7 Oscars, including Best Picture. Streep was nominated for Best Actress, but Redford did not receive a nomination at all. Wow. The movie was proved to be Redford's biggest success in the decade, and Redford Pollock's most successful of their 7 movies together. Whereas next film, Regal Eagles 1986, alongside Deborah Winger, something like that, was one only the minor success at the box office. He did not direct again until the Minger Beanfield War 1988. Wow. Warcraft, though not commercially successful. Anyways, screen version John Nichols' acclaimed novel of the Southwest, the Minger Beanfield War. It's a story about the people of Miguel, New Mexico. Wow. Based on the real-time trials north of New Mexico. Overcoming big developers who set up about the ruin their community and force them out with tax increases. Wow. Okay, makes sense anyway. Redford continued a major star throughout the 90s and 2000s. In 1992, he released his first film as director, the period drama of River Runs Through It, based on the Norman McLean's novel, starring Craig Shriver, Brad Pitt, and Tom Schurz, like that. Anyways, River received a nomination for the Golden Globe Award for Best Director. This is a return of mainstream success for Redford, the director, and brought a young Pitt to greater prominence. In 1994, he directed Exposed Quiz Show, but a quiz show scandal in the late 50s. Okay? In the later film, Redford worked with a screenplay by Paul and Sasha from that. Anyway, with cinematographer Michael Boyles, cast that featured Paul Scottfield, John Scottfield from that, Rod Morrow, Ralph Fiennes from that, David Harrison of Newsweek. Well, Robert Redford may be becoming more cosmic movie star of that last decade. He has become a more daring and accomplished filmmaker. Quiz Show is the best movie since Ordinary People. In 1993, he started the initial partial. It's a billionaire businessman with tests a couple of morals. The films became one of the year's biggest hits. He co-starred with Michelle Pfeiffer as in the newsroom for Romance in Up Close and Personal in 1996, and with Kristen Scott Thomas and the young Scarlett Johansson in The Horse Whisperer 1998. We also directed. Weber's also continued work in the films with special contests such as Havana 1990, playing Jock Will, and Special Gamer 1959, Cuba's during the Revolution, as well as Sneakers in 1992, in which he co-starred with Rich River Pollux and C. Poyer. 1999-2012. Anyways, it's been filmmaking and, of course, later works. Weber also directed Matt Dillon and Will Smith in The Legend of Matt Bagger Vance in 2000. He appeared as a disgraced Army general sent to the prison drama The Last Cast in 2001, directed by Rod Worley. In the same year, Redford routine with Pitt for Spy Game. Wow. Another success for the pair, but Redford switched this time for director and actor. But during that time, he planned to direct and star in the sequel of The Candidate. The project never happened. Redford, a lean racial activist like that, narrated IMAX direct documentary Scared Project planned in 2004. Anyway, the sweet majority across the globe, the sum is most iconic and endangered place in the clearing in 2004. Same year, anyway, Redford portrayed Wayne Haynes like that. A shrewd businessman who kidnapped forces him and his wife to cover the personal compromise behind this seemingly end-all life. He also stepped back into producing with the Michael Diaries 2004, same year. Anyway, coming-age road film about a young medical student, also she Garson with anyway. And his friend Abio Garson with that. He supposed that personal and social issues about South Africa, Americans with that influenced Garson and shaping his future. With 5 years spent on his filmmaking, Redford is credited by director Robert Sales for being instrumental in getting the made and released. Back in front of the camera, Rever received gold not notice as well as director Leslie's Hallstars finished live in 2005. As Canada's venture who takes an advantage daughter-in-law, Jennifer Lopez, the granddaughter he never knew. After they fled and exposed relationship. Anyways, meanwhile, Redford returned to family territory. The team was stripped 22 years after they started in Africa. The special project Rise of the Lambs 2007, which also starred Tom Cruise. Anyways, that's a great deal of hype. Anyways, the film won with mixed reviews. The point box office Owen Government and International Weekly wrote this. Anyways, Rise of the Lambs is so square. There's something that out of the gray twilight glow of the golden age of television. Even the mystery plot, which Schwartz seems to place on stage. And in 2010, Redford released the Crosswords, one that period drama revolving around the assassination of Abraham Lincoln. Anyways, Redford appeared in 2011 documentary Buck by Cindy Merrill, which discussed about his experience with the title subject Buck Birmingham. During the production of The House Whisperer in 2012, Redford directed the comedy You Keep, which he starred the former Weather Underground activist who goes in one of the journalists discovered the identity. Film star himself, Shia LaBeouf, and Joey Christie, something like that. 2013 to 2025. Fireworks in retirement. 2013, Redford stars in All His Laws, directed by J.C. Chandler or something like that. About a man lost at sea. He received acclaim and for this performance in the film, which he was it was only the cast member. There was almost no dialogue. Redford was nominated for the Golden Globe Award for Best Actor, Motion Picture Drama. Won New York Film Critics Circle Award for Best Actor. His first time winning as actor honored that group. He has been nominated for 1969 as a Racer. Al Larkin wrote at RogerEbert.com said this: Chandler plays the Redford Straits, inspires village crimes, dominations, and detached from the virus and normal existence. Excuse me. In return, Redford gave the performance of the later half of his career a role that it was not just personality, but it's also part of the actual demanding. In 2014, by April, Redford played the main antagonist in the Marvel Studios superhero film Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Alexander Prince, the head of SHIELD, for sure. Anyway, and leader of Hydra, the operating the Texan. Redford is a co-producer and with Emma Thompson and Neil Torp acting the film Walk in the Woods in 2015, based on Bill Barson book of the same name. Redford has optioned the film rights in the book from Barson after reading it from the decade earlier. With the instance of co-starring it with Paul Newman, but it showed the project after Newman's death. Wow. Also in 2015, he played the news anchor Dan Rather, Janet Gorman's Truth alongside Kate Blanchett, something like that. Film received mixed reviews with shots and chains of very annoying deaths. Anyway, Redford, who bears a solid renounce to Rather, Dan Rather that is, but not quite enough to make you forget who you are watching. Plays a veteran newsman who with easy gratis with that. Inner, straight, and the general pleasurable twinkle in his eye. Twinkle anyway. With little display of anger and rivalry for which he was often known for over the course of his short career. In 2016, he took a disappointing role as Mr. Menschman in the Disney remake of Pete's Dragon. The next year, Redford starred Discovery and Our Souls at Night, both released on Netflix streaming in 2017. But the later film he was also co-produced, reuniting him with Fonda, the fifth time in grand positive reviews. Redford has also played bank robber Ferris Tucker and the David Bowie directed drama film The Odd Man and the Gun, which was released in September 2018, received a global nomination. Alison Wilkinson won to Box said this: in The Odd Man and the Gun, both Redford and Bowie are returning their roots. For Redford, a role that long bank robber feels like a trained cat to the career that eventually launched a half a century ago, with his role alongside Paul Newman and Bud Cassidy, son of his kid. In August 2018, Redford announced his retirement from his acting at the completion of the film. But the following month, Redford said that he was granted announcing retirement because you never knew. But he briefly responded as well as Alexander Prince, the cameo, and the Avengers game, which is, I know, it's still bad, I know. Filmed in 2017 for completion of the former film. But Redford, the executive producer of the series Dark Winds, made a cameo alongside fellow executive producer George R. Martin, portraying identity playing chess. Filmographies and auxiliaries, and that should and all of that good activities there. In his directorial debut, Redford won the 1980 Academy Award for Best Director for the film Ordinary People. He was the 2002 Academy Award for receiving the 2074 Academy Awards. In 2017, he was awarded with the Golden Lion for Lifetime Achievement of the 74th Venice Film Festival. In February 22nd, 2019, Redford received the honorary Chester for the 44th Caesar Award in Paris. Wow. He attended the University of Colorado in the 50s and received an honorary degree in 1988. But in 1989, the National Country Society awarded Redford the highest honor, the National Medal. In 1995, he was born anyway. He received the honorary Doctor's Army Letters degree in Bard College. Wow. Redford received the honorary doctorate from Brown University in 2008, and it was a 2010 recipient for the New Mexico Government Award for Excellence in the Arts. In 2014, Redford was named by Time Magazine one of the 100 most influential people in the world. Wow. In May 2015, Redford received delivered the Confederate's address and received the honorary degree from Colby College in Maine. In 1996, he was awarded the National Medal of Arts from President Bill Clinton. In October 14, 2010, Redford was appointed the Comptroller of the Legendary Honor by President Nicholas Sarkozy. And on November 22, 2016, President Barack Obama honored Redford the Presidential Medal of Freedom. December 2015 to 2005, receiving the Christian Kennedy Medal Honors with his contributions to the American culture. The honors received recognized for the lifetime competitions. Anyway, the American culture of the performing arts as follows: whether it's dance, music, theater, opera, motion pictures, and television. Anyway, in 2008, Redford received the Dorothy and Lillian Gish Prize, one of the richest prizes in the arts, given annually to man and woman who have made outstanding contribution to the beauty of the world, to mankind, enjoying and understanding the life. The University of Southern California, USC for short, School of Dramatic Arts, announced the first annual Robert Redford Award for Exchange Arts in 2009. According to the school's website, the award was created to honor those who have distinguished themselves not only in the impartial quality, skill, and the mention of their work, but also in their public commitment to social responsibility to increasing awareness of global issues and events, inspiring young people. Wow. Now, other venues, and that should be okay. Come on back, stand by. Wow. I'm back, folks. Sorry about that. I just have to pause right there and just go with the flow. Anyway, let's get back to it. Anyway, other venues. Sedan's Film Festival. When the festival proceeds its acting success, well, starting with the Sedan's and Bud Cassidy and the Sedan's kids, and downhill racer, Redford bought a ski area when it's east side of the Mount Tobias, when that located in the West Mountains, northeast of part of Utah, called Tip Haven, something like that. He renamed it Sundance after the Sundance Kid character. But his ex-wife Lola was from Utah, and they built a home in the area in 1983. Produced in the movie Gemini Johnson in 1982. The film was both one of Redford's favorites and the one that's heavily influenced him. Wow. It was shot near the ski area. Redford was wanting to create the Sundance Film Festival, which became the country's largest festival for independent films. The festival which was eventually known for this Utah U.S. Festival. Eventually would be named for Redford's Sundance Land. In 2008, Sundance exhibited 125 feature-length films from 34 countries, from more than 150,000 attendees. Wow. In Salt Lake City and Park City, Utah. Redford also followed the Sundance Institute, Sundance Youth Cinemas, Sundance Color, and Sundance Channel. Wow. And all of this Park City. 40 miles and 48 kilometers north of the Sundance ski area. Wow. Redford is also owned a Park City restaurant, Zoom, that closed in May 2017. Wow. Production companies. Well, he's also a co-owner of Redford Enterprise Incorporated with Bo Hammersman, producer with the following film credits: Lions for Lambs, Quiz Show, River Runs Through It, Ordinary People, Horse Whisperer, Legends of Bagger Bands, The Slums of Bury Hills, and The Margaret Diaries, and The Crossburner. She's also the president and co-founder of the Sundance Productions with Warren Michael Kuzinium. Sundance Productions produced Chicagoland for CNN, Carnival of Culture, Berlin Film Festival, The March of PBS, and Emmy nominees, All the President's Men, Revisited on Discovery, and of course, Elizabeth Nally's Green Boy Alive, and of course, and the Rush of Love on Epics. But it's founded the non-profit Sundance Institute in Park City, Utah, in 1981. Redford is involved in independent films through his various workshop programs for that, and Popular Film Festival. Sundance is also provided short-form independent filmmakers like me. In 1995, Redford signed a deal with Showtime to start a 24-hour cable television channel devoted to airing independent films. The Sundance Channel was premiered on February 20, Labor Day to 1996. Leap Day 1996. Now, what is on now? Let me see. What's doing now? Let me see. It still goes on. Good. Launched in 1996, February 1st. Sundance TV is still around. Good. But what happened to it now? Let me see. Let's see. Still goes on US. No, it does not. Good. No. I don't see it anywhere. It's owned by AMC, so that's good. But doesn't want on cable? No, it's not on cable. So no, it's on YouTube TV and everything like that. Anyway, move on. Next. Let's just read this anyway. Personal life and death. Anyway, marriages and family. On August 9th, 1958, Redford married Lola Wagington, in Las Vegas. The couple had 4 children: Scott Anthony, Scott Jean, David James, and Amy Hart. Scott died of sudden infant death syndrome, SIDS for short, at the age of 2.5 months. Sean is a pioneer and married the journalist Eric Scarzer. James was a writer and the producer that died in 2020. Wow. Amy is an actress, director, and producer. Redford had 7 grandchildren. Wow. Oh, wow. Anyways, Redford and Brian Wagnerman, something like that. never publicly announced the separation and divorce, but in 1982, entertainment public columnist Shirley Ander reported that their pair have been very much apart for several years. In 1991, Paradise magazine said it was clear that the divorce had been finalized. That divorce became official at some points because on July 11, 2009, Reverend's longtime girlfriend, Simon Swaggers, married at the Louis C. Jacob Hotel in Hamburg, Germany. She has moved in with Reverend in 1996, been shared home in Sandus, Utah, and May 2011. Robert Redford, the biography was published by Albert A. Knopf, written by Michael Bailey Cullen. Weber's composition draws and eventually with his personal papers, diaries, and taped interviews. Wow. Although Weber probably resided at Sandus Resort in Utah, he owned a horse and Torrance, California, was sold in 2024. He also had property in Santa Fe, Mexico. Wow. Partial activism. Anyways, Redford supported environmentalism, national Americans' rights, LGBT rights, and the arts. He was supportive of groups like the Presidential Action Committee's Directors School of America, or PACDGA for short. But anyway, whatever the pronunciation was. But anyway, that's how you pronounce it. Anyway, that's what it stands for. But anyway, Directors School of America. That's what you pronounce it. But anyway. He was the executive producer and narrator the documentary film isn't an Ogura. Ogura, I pronounce it. Anyway. An American Indian movement activist Leonard Peller. He also supported Brent Cole Morris in the successful campaign for the Republican nomination for Utah's 3rd congressional district in 1990. He also supported Gary Hilbert, another Republican in the friend. In Hilbert's successful 2004 campaign to be elected governor in Utah. Hilbert later became governor in Utah. As an avid advisement, Weber was trustee of the National Resource Defense Council. He endorsed Dominican President Barack Obama re-election in 2012. Weber's first quote was the back cover of Donald Trump's book, Corporate America in 2015, saying Trump's candidate. Right in there, being the said he was it said it was the way he said it, something like that. I think shakes things up, and I think it is what Barry did. A respected later clarifies that Redford's statement, taken from the longer conversation with Larry King, was not intended to restore Trump for president at all. In 2019, Redford penned an op-ed in which he referred to Trump's administration as the monitoring disguise. And stated it was time for Trump to go. Okay? Redford co-authored another op in which he criticized Trump having the COVID-19 pandemic, which also caused the collective public response to the pandemic and the model of how to respond to climate change. He criticized the decision to withdraw the Paris Agreement. In July 2020, Redford penned an op in which he was stated that President Trump lacks a moral compass. In the same piece, he announced that he would be supporting Joe Biden in the 2020 presidential election. Redford opposed the Trans-Canada Corporation's Keystone Pipeline. In 2013, he was identified by the CEO, Russ Gurry, for leading the anti-pipeline protest movement. In April 2014, Redford, Advisory College plus trustees, Advisory College President Roy Strasbourg announced that the college would eventually fossil fuels stocks for the development at the time. It was the higher education institution, the largest endowment in the U.S. to make this comment. The presidency conference was held in the LA Press Club, and in November 2012, Sasha launched the Robert Redford strategy Southern California sustainability at Sizemore College. On September 16th, 2025, he died in his sleep in his home in Sandus, Utah. He was 89 years old. Several reference co-stars paid tribute to him, including the Frederick collaborator James Spada, who wrote, "He meant a lot to me and was a beautiful person in every way. He showed to America that we all keeping up fighting for." His Out of America's co-star Meryl Streep wrote this: "One of the lions had passed. Rest in peace, my Bobby Flan." The Wayward Roller co-star Barbara Streisand said this. Wayward statement saying this. When the part said this. Bob was Christmas. Into the college. Intense, always enduring, one of the finest actors ever. It's all the Precious Man co-star Dustin Hoffman paid tribute to Redford writing this: "Walker Redford was one of the greatest spirits I ever had. I'll miss him." And journalist Bob Redford, who Redford portrayed in all of the Precious Men, also paid tribute. Anyway, others were commenting on Redford's death, including politicians such as U.S. President Donald Trump, former President Barack Obama, former First Lady Hillary Clinton, and former Vice President Al Gore. Numerous prominent speakers from the entertainment industry paid tribute to Redford, including filmmakers such as Martin Scorsese, I might pronounce it, Ron Howard, and actors such as Morgan Freeman, Leonardo DiCaprio, Baldwin, Scarlett Johansson, some of that. Johansson, pronounce it, sorry. Mark Ruffalo, Julian Morris, with that. Edward Norton, Josh Brolin, Ethan Hawke, and Antonio Banderas. Redford said to be interred in his Sundance property following a low-key funeral. His legacy was actually goes like this. During his career, Redford was often described as a sex symbol. Perhaps during the 70s, the BBC News called the appeal of all American football looks that he could be ignored. The Associated Press noted that Redford, wavy blonde hair, and boyish grin made him the most discarded of the leading man during his high career. However, the Redford himself rejected the label of being a sex symbol. Wow. In 1974, in an interview with New York Times, Redford responded to his image as a symbol by saying this: "I never thought of myself as a glamorous guy, a handsome guy, and any of that stuff. Suddenly there's this image. Glamorous image that can be a real handicap. Is it crap? I don't know. You're telling me." Following Redford's death, Narrative Publishing Barry remarked and that he could become a godfather for independent film as founder of the Sundance Film Institute. That as a movie star, in his poem, "Few Can Touch Him." Wow. That in the 70s heyday, Phil actors put those Redford's star rock edge. Robert Guardian, Andrew Pryor, characterized Redford as a giant of American cinema. Wow, and one of the defining movie stars of the 70s, crossing the east between the Hollywood New Wave and the mainstream film industry. The Los Angeles Times remember Redford as a general icon. In France, culture minister Roger Day praised him as a giant of American cinema. The founder of the Sundance Film Festival, he has been described as a godfather of independent cinema. New York Times noted that Redford's films were known for inspiring serious topics such as a corporation of a group that was restoring the masses, and he's one of his films to carry cultural weight, and that Redford took the risk by exploring dark and challenging material. He was hailed as one of the few truly iconic screen figures of the past half century. It's one Hollywood Golden Boy by the Hollywood Reporter. Filmmaker Ron Howard praised Redford for his work, calling him a tremendously influential culture figure, the Oxford game changer. His creation of the Sundance Film Festival was created to boost to independent filmmaking. And he was awarded the Perennial Medal of Freedom in 2016. Salt Lake Tribune called Redford's Sundance Film Festival because of the exploration of independent films. Wow, okay. Time knowing Redford's influence evidence called him firstly just dedicated to pushing the world that is entertainment from all. And all mentioned that the Redford Foundation helped support the foundation for a filmmaker like I am, because I'm a filmmaker and technician, rock musician for over a year now. His environment awareness went to Fox News, remembering Redford as an icon who, of course, committed himself for being a good steward in the environmental movement, the campaign, and a champion to American Southwest. In 2016, then President Barack Obama called Redford one of the foremost commercials of our generation. That's a long read for Robert Redford. But anyway, the next topic has to do with Paul Cohen. Born that name, Paul A. Cohen. He was a American historian of China. He was an E.F. Wiseman Professor of Asian Studies and History of Wesley College, and is associated with the Broadbank Center of Chinese Studies, Harvard University. His research interests in 19th to 20th century China. It's called Thought in American China. Anyways, he was also co-author of social books in modern Chinese history, as well as historiography, such as Discovering History in China, 1984-2010. His work has been translated to several languages, including Chinese, Korean, and Japanese. He was born in Great Neck, New York on June 2nd, 1944. And he studied for Toronto University from 1952 to 1953 before he transferred to the University of Chicago, where he received a BA in 1955. He received his MA in 1957 and PhD in 1961 from Harvard University. He was a student at John King Burbank and Benjamin Ives Stewart. Anyway, after completing his doctorate, he's worked at the University of Michigan from 1982 to 1983. He's a faculty member of the History Department at the Armitage College from 1983 to 1985. Wow. Thereafter, he taught at Wellesley College until his retirement. Later in life, he was associated with the Broadbank Center of Chinese Studies at Harvard University. He has had 3 children throughout his first marriage, Andrew Dean Deck, Arthur Critic. 1 child from his second marriage, Jane M. Collin D.I.V. Anyway, now graduated at the University of Texas School of Law in Austin. He died in Boston, Massachusetts on September 15, 2025. He was 91 years old. The next topic has with Anthony, I pronounced it, Maitland. Born Anthony Jasper Maitland. He was a British children's, is that he? Yeah, he's a he. Never mind. He was a British children's author, illustrator, as in the 60s to the 80s. During his career, Maitland drew the 11 Leon Garfield books and 4 books by Ruth Ainsworth from that. For his drawings, Maitland won the 1961 Greenway Medal for Miss Cockles from that cat, and was nominated for the same award for 1972, The Ghost Downstairs. For his own books, Maitland premiered The Secret of the Shield in 1962, before releasing his 2 national books in the 1950s. Spanish books by Maitland were Al Jack in 1967 and Encore in 1984. Outside literature, he was working design throughout Europe and the Middle East. Born on June 17, 1945 in Hampshire, England. And to Percy, Eric Maitland, October 6, 26, 1985, anyway, to August 22nd, 1985. Anyway, a senior RAF officer and his wife, Alison Mary Nee Kellywell, September 15th, 1904 to 1999. Growing up, he was lived in Germany, East Asia. Wow, okay. For his post-secondary education, he graduated a design course in the West of England College of Art in 1957. After British Army National, his career began with this. Anyway, after British Army National Service and Intelligence Officer from 1956 to 1958, he toured Europe and the Middle East. Anyways, in his early career, Maitland planned to create book jackets. Wow, okay. Where he became a children's book illustrator. Maitland's illustrations first appeared in the Abilities Prayers 1961 book titled Mr. Cockle's Cat. Throughout the 60s and the early 80s, Maitland drew for various authors. He drew his appearance during the time period, including 10 Garfield books, and one Garfield book co-written with David Partridge, and 4 Ruth Anwood's books. But 1984, his drawings was displayed at the store at Hanover Square, London. For his own works, he was provided the illustrations for his 4 books from the early 1960s or the late 70s. At the release of The Secret of the Steel in 1962, he was published for 2 more books in the early 1960s, before returning to writing with A.L. Jack in 1977. In 1984, he released a memorial book about the theater titled Encore. Apart from illustrations, Maitland worked in various design fields such as furniture design, photographic design, and art design. In entertainment, he was a costume designer and set designer for the unreleased movie adaptation of The Goose Girl by the Brothers Grimm. In Europe, he also worked for the National Portrait Gallery and the Chamber of Horrors, and was part of the Madame Thousands. For the Middle East, he was experienced in the Archers and Marvis, while also working the portrait mayor for the Shah-Iran. Designs and themes. Anyways, but the writing style selling in his works, Maitland focused on spiritual lettering. For his drawings, Maitland used in his early memories and incorporates them the child's perspective. To create his illustrations, Maitland used line art before his combination washed to them. In stories by Shakespeare, Maitland used watercolors in the drawings and Collins' 1995 year book. Anyway, Dawson Awards. In 2011, I.O. Jack was performed in the charity musical in North Muscam. The president of Maitland and Dawson went to save the children. And with the illustration of Miss Coggle's Cat, Maitland received in 1971 came away with medal, and in 1932, Maitland was nominated for the same award with his drawings in Garfield's book, The Ghost Downstairs. He died in his home in Suffolk, England, August 7th, 1975. He was 9 years old. The next topic has to do with Marian Nolan. Born that name, she was best known as an American child actress, okay? She started appearing in Hollywood film starting in 1941 when she was 4 years old. Wow. She established herself as a freelancer who worked variously in the different major film studios throughout the decade. Began being cast in films such as Imitation of Life, Les Marjories, and Angels with Dirty Faces. Wow. She worked with film stars such as Catherine Hepburn, something like that. James Kennedy and Holly Gilbert. In total, 6 of the films where she appeared were nominated for the Academy Award for Best Picture. All within the span of 7 years. Wow. Nolan retired from film acting when she became an adult, when she was active in the local theater productions and playwright and composer. When she was considered to be one of the last surviving actors of the 30s period of Hollywood golden years. She was born in Oakland, California on May 12, 1926. Her parents were Robert E. Nolan Jr., 1896 to 1932, a Utah-born entrepreneur and a later agent, and Buffett McKenzie. They married on December 23rd, 1921. She was the only child. When she was nearly 3 years old, in early 1929, she entered a beauty pageant for babies and was crowned the winner. Wow. She started taking dance lessons at the age of 3. One of her teachers saw show business partially early on. It was considered one she would make it in entertainment industry. Among others, she was tortured by Russian-born ballet dancer, choreographer, and actor Fyodor Kozlov. Anyways, career in Hollywood 1941 to 1944. In 1941, Collins Barber got a screen test for Paramount Pictures film Woman Loved Once. While the whole family was busy in Hollywood for reasons related to Barber's work, he was called Fred Dying, something like that. The casting director for Paramount. Despite her young age, she managed to be able to speaking part of the main lines without any problems. During child labor laws at the time, the family had to get permission for her to be able to work. Despite a car accident that day, Barber had to be hospitalized for injury to her collarbone and rib. Wow. Mary herself was only slightly injured. Wow. He got help from the actress Doria Coswell, who happened to be witness the event. Wow. And probably for the film, Colin performed in the cinemas right before it was start. Her debut was meant to be praised by various newspapers at the time. Knowing worked seamlessly in films, many high-budget ones brought the furries. She's always cast as daughter of the main characters, one of the leading ladies in her childhood. Look at the younger version of her and the actress, cast as the leading lady, who was often a major reason why she was cast in a certain role. Unlike most actors, children are all those alike. Exactly. During the studio system era, she was never contracted to Parchworth Studio. A part of the temporary period during the filming of Mary Italy, when she was studying at MGM, Mary Golden Mayer, something like that for short, Little Square Schoolhouse. She went to public school instead of the private schools that were child actors in Hollywood. She was Gail Garbo's in Charlie Gable's 1931 film, Susan Lennox, Her Fall and Rise, where scenes were deleted in the final cut. In 1943, known as an uncredited role in Longoria when the free gold drama Little Woman. Wow. It starred Katharine Hepburn. Anyways, it was nominated for the Academy Award Best Picture in the 6th Academy Awards in 1944. Wow. But the same year, no one was seen as one of the few child actors to have established herself in the comedy industry. Wow. She was one of the few these actors that portrayed Jessie Coleman in Age 8, and the 1924 Universal Pictures film, Emanations of Life. Over 100 children have auditioned, the part of the she was only got. The film based on a Fanny Hurst 1923 novel with the same name. There was the topic of passing. A female would again be explored in the film that she appeared in a couple of years later, Showboat. She played Rachel Hodgson's character as a child, with the nomination for Academy Award for Best Picture with 7 Academy Awards the next year. In 2005, the film was selected as presentation of the United States National Film Registry, being deemed culturally, historically, and actually significant. Wow. Anyways, no one appeared in 2 Academy Award nomination films for Best Picture this following year. David Copperfield, and less modernist with that. David Copperfield was based on Charles Dickens' 1950 novel, directed by George Cukor, released by MGM. It was Barlow's debut in Hollywood. She played David's foster sister, Angus Wakefield, as a child. Wow. Despite both being cast in the same film, she never met comic actor W.C. Fields on the set. Her piano playing can be heard in one scene. Les Mis, directed by Richard Woloszewski, was based on the French actor Richard Morgos' 1862 novel with the same name, having both played the same character in Mission of Life. Nolan and Rachel Halston did once again with modernist when they portrayed something like that. Caused it during the different moments in the film. Nolan's base can be seen in the most DVD covers in the film. Wow. Which starred Craig March and Charles Lavin. Her performance was described as memorable and excellent by various newspapers. She was being cast in now one of Buzzfeed's films, Metropolitan, later that year. She also had a small part on Florence Audrey in 1946, an epic show drama film, Anthony Ivers. Anyway, again with Frederick March in the leading fit role, and late Aunt Olivia D. Harper in later Forgotten the Wind, Sarah, since she passed away in 2020. But anyway, is that right? Let me see. Yeah, I was right. 2020 was born in Tokyo, Japan, but died in Paris. But anyway, as its lead, anyway, it was nominated for Best Picture night for Academy Awards the following year. She was cast in Rainbows on the River in 1946, starring Bobby Brown, one of the few children's films that no one ever appeared in. A reviewer from District Free Press lauded her performance as Lucille Landon, calling her the fine little actress. In 1948 historical drama film, Mario Tolly's from that, she portrayed Princess Marie Francoise of France, starring the title character, which is played by Norma Sierras from that. She also played Larry Martin, James Garvey character love interest. Anyway, as a child, in the Angels with Dirty Faces, the same year. Novels and characters her the role in anyway, Scarlett Herrera's younger sister in Gone the Wind, which is normally went to the decade older actress and Robert Field. Wow, which I'm surprised she's in Gone the Wind. But towards the end of her film career, she made an appearance in All This and Evan 2 in 1940 with Betty Davis and Charles Boyer, some of that. She played Marion Von Horn, one of the school students. This is her sixth time she went in the film because that became nominated the Best Picture by the Academy Awards. The last film she appeared in was The Lay on Flash in 1940. Now, later life and death. She attended Beverly Hills High School. She retired from acting in the films in 1944. The last being is going to be the source. I'm talking about All This having two in the same year, 1944. But I'm talking about Lay on Flash. But anyway, move on. Next. Anyway, she's concentrated on her educational studies and development of musical drama skills. Anyways, she was accepted into private California-based liberal arts and science colleges, Miller's College, the major in music and drama. When she married the World War II Army Captain Richard Gaulius from that on July 3rd, 1946, at the All Saints Catholic Church in St. Renato. They had met 3 years earlier. They accomplished her husband and his assignment to China and Japan, and became a radio announcer for the United States Armed Forces radio station, Nat King, which came in the better combination the Parks. The call sign of her radio station was XMAG. I don't know how to pronounce it, sorry. I don't understand. But where's that? But anyway, move on. Next, there was also a station in Yugoslavia and Shanghai. Wow. When the military returned to the United States, Gaulius enrolled in Several University while Miriam supported them in high group school. Graduated in the business, and but not before they had their first child, Korean. He then attended the MBA. They have 2 more children, Brian and Kevin. But it's over 1 foster child. She went back in the Mills College. As a student, when at the age of 50, she had divorced co-eds and married always Bosno, some of that. Throughout most of proposed Hollywood life, Nolan is a musician, songwriter, playwright, offering a number of songs and musical plays. She's often worked with Richard on these projects. For instance, they wrote a local musical called Never Pull Off Until Tomorrow in 1982, associated with their Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints Church. And Richard ran for the transition business at the time. She moved to Fallbrook in 1983. Then at the age of 69, she had a leading role in the local theater production of Why Fair Lady. Continued various roles, Icon onto her the Lifetime Achievement Award for the Icon Movies Festival in September 2010. The award was presented to her by actress Marsha Hunt, whom she appeared in the 1946 film Easy to Take, and in 2011, she published her an autobiography she had written, Little Girl in Big Pictures, describing her experiences as a child actress going the golden years of Hollywood, telling the rest of the story about her life. She had fond memories of her time in Hollywood and was always supported by her parents. In 2015, she was said to be one of the few people still alive that were working in Hollywood in the 30s. In 2018, she lived in a retirement home in California. She died in Eagle, Iowa on last Monday. She was 99 years old. Wow. Okay. The next step, top host of Joel Moss. Born that name, he was best known as a record producer, sound engineer, and mixer. Born in Detroit, Michigan on May 11, 1946, to Jay Harmon and Dorothy Moss. At the age of 12, he was performing in American and Canadian folk groups. Wow. And the American Architecture and Architecture from that in University of Minnesota. And still he was able to work in Minnesota Orchestra and record musicians such as George, some of that, Bobby Dahl, and Willie Wake, some of that. Folk music was probably wanted. Moss became a sound engineer and producer for rock and roll bands in Detroit. Wow. He moved to Los Angeles in 1969, was found working, producing and engineering projects with working recording artists and such as Will Richard, Joe Cocker, and Johnny Cash. He became an executive director and chief engineer on the recording studios in 1986. But the record company operated Paramount Pictures scoring stage. We were able Moss to expand his I gotta stop saying one time. Anyway, musical directors from film music. Anyway. He was able to develop new technology production techniques. Anyway, he became a master member of the advisory board developing digital formats of film sound. In 1990, he worked to become associated with the Hollywood Bowl Orchestra. Some associates were the maestro John Marshall, some of that, and Parsons, and the composer Michael Gore. He founded his own Marshall Music Company in 1997, sponsoring jazz and theater. Wow. In 2000, Moss was hired as a sound engineer by mixer by Kirk Douglas and Shirley Ray Scott. The founders of Scotty K Boom. Anyway, records. Anyway, move on. Next, recording the labels expecting some of that. Recording Broadway cast albums, some of that. Although most of the recordings done in New York City, he said he did production to work at home. One of Moss's Grammy Awards was one of the best musical show albums, producing the cast and recording at the Heights. Recorded music that happened in Broadway in 2008, live in the streets of Manhattan, Washington Heights neighborhood. So it's different types of music, including rap, salsa, more boring. But anyway, next, Moss once said quoted this. Hold on. Anyway, Moss said once quoted as saying this. I'm critical about awards in general, especially in today's world. Working a lot more exciting than an award. Also received an award in Broadway category when Broadway, like many things, dire states, stress of its kind of drawing. Of Moss' 7 Grammy Awards, he said the most meaningful was recording Ray Charles and to his album, You Don't Know Me. Recorded in 2004, released in 2005, the Grammy I won for Ray Charles was very special because I was the last person who recorded him. He died a few days later. I was happy to be part of it, Moss said. Anyways, following the world premiere of the Cultural Theater in Boston, Holly Fairley began previews on Broadway in November 2006, opening on December 7th. Anyway, the musical closed in the Cultural Theater on December 17th. The single CD was produced by Moss, and the Boom goes live President Kirk Douglas from that. Anyways, move on. Next, recording this original Broadway company including Will Chase and Jen Cautious from that. Moss was one of the engineers and sound mixers with Tony Bennett, playing with My Friends, Bennett Sings the Blues, where the 2002 Grammy Award. The opening ad starring parts from that. Moss produced Pilot's first solo CD, Model Prisoner, heard by critics as a modern rock masterpiece. Okay, Boom Records. Moss was dedicated to bridge the gap between pop music and fear. Yeah, okay, whatever. His credits include The Eagles, Joe Cocker, Talking Heads, and Red Hot Chili Peppers. In 2005, they were invited to participate in the collaborative original combinations including involving 13 other outstanding artists in the Capital District of New York, which resulted in Starry Pop, a CD produced by Moss. He died early last week, on September 25th, 2025. Anyway, he was 79 years old. Okay, now I'm on. Anyways, my last step topic has to do with Pat Crowley. Born Patrick Margaret, Crowley. She was an American actress. In 1953, she was awarded the Golden Globe of New Star of the Year for her performance in Forever Female and Money from Home. Throughout the 50s and 60s, she was a starring roles with Rosemary Clooney, Dean Martin, and Jerry Lewis and Tony Curtis. Among the stars of the era, she appeared in television roles in the 50s and continued on until the 2000s, until 2012. But she was born September 17th, 1943, in Albany, Pennsylvania. Her sister Anne was also an actress. Wow. She played Sally Carver. In the film Forever Female, 1953, starring Ginger Rogers and William Owen. She stars Dr. Owen Claypool alongside Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis in Money from Home in the same year. In a final film together in Hollywood or Bust in 1956, in which she played Terry Roberts. Okay. Her roles in Forever Female and Money from Home brought there on the Golden Globe Award for New Star of the Year Actress. Anyways, she co-starred Rosemary Clooney in the 1954 musical with Gars and with Barbara Stanwyck, Fred McGarry in the 1956 drama There Always Tomorrow. She had a starring role opposite Tony Curtis in the boxing drama The Square Jungle in 1955 with the Eddie Murphy, Audie Murphy, anyway, pronounce it. Anyway. Western Walk the Proud Land. It was also featured in 1953's Weird Dealers, the comedy starring James Garner and Wheatley Mark, Weber, something like that. She stars as Joey Bosser in the daytime version of Day with Judy on ABC TV in 1951. Anyways, she made guest appearances on the many television series in the 1950s and 60s, including the pilot of The Untouchables, The Long Crosswords, The Alfred Hitchcock Hour, Rollerboat, The Pilot Show with Joan Osmond, some of that. Raw High with Clint Eastwood, Ryan and Dead Alive with Steve McQueen, The 11th Hour, The Roaring Twenties, Chicane, some of that, Miss Novak, Twilight Zone, The Figurine, 77 Sunset Strip, anyway. The Tab Allen Show with Follow the Man from Uncle. She appeared as lead lady for both James Corden and Robert Moore. Same episode of Maverick titled The Rivals in 1958, reworking of Richard Burry's 1775 Communist Matters play. Wow. Okay. This was the only episode she both Gardner and Moore. She was billed in both some Sparrow episodes and Patricia Crowley. As Pat Crowley. Wow. She starred in 1955 and to 1957 as Joan Nash. The NBC MGM television sitcom Please Don't Eat the Daisies, which was based on the 1957 book by Gene Kerr. Excuse me. Anyways, in the 1960s Doris Day David Niven film with the same name. In 1965-1976, she played Georgia Carpenter on the Joe Forrester television series. She also sang and danced in the Dean Martin show. She also made guest appearance on the Bonanza in the episode The Actress, Charles Angels, Fort Columbia, Police Woman, anyways, Streets of San Francisco, Hawaii Five-0, Rockford Files, The Favorite and Father Game, anyways, Hotel, Queen Martin's Tales, we expected an episode called Force of Evil, Murder, She Wrote, Angela Asbury recipe. Anyway, slow sitcoms: Happy Days, Love Boat, Abby Ness, Roseanne, Frasier, boring Friends. Anyway, she became known for the later Anyway, she also became known for the later era of television viewers for roles in the serials Generation from 1989-1990. Parts Charles from 1997 to 2003, following to be over in 2005. She appeared in the Emily Fallman 10 episodes of Nighttime Soap Opera Dynasty in 1986. More recently, Carver portrayed real baseball's Roger Maris in the Bobby 61. Anyway, it was directed by Billy Crystal. She appeared in 2006 episode Closer in 2009 episode Jewel Chase. For her career, she's confused by actress Kathleen Crawley. She co-starred in many of the same television series during the same time frame, the 50s and 60s. Anyways, they have never appeared together. They're not related. Walt Disney's actor Vance Parker noted that in this archive of American television interview, the two actors were named Crawley, who everyone had always mixed up. One tall Pat and one short Kathleen. His parents are short, Crawley with one project, despite being 6 feet 6 inches tall. Personal life and death. Crawley, a Republican, endorsed Dwight Eisenhower's re-election in 1956 presidential election. She died in Los Angeles on September 14th of last Sunday. She was 91 years old. Now, let's do the one side question in regards to not 1, not 2, but 12 depth topics right now. Thank you. Recipes is 12 people. Now, let's talk about the other news of the day. And that is, of course, I will talk about the news to talk about, and that is, of course, and this is bad news for some of you Disney fans, because I'm a huge fan of Disney, per se. And this is way too harsh for some of you who are fans of Disney. And this is how to be true. Senator Rand Paul said FCC chair comment trading ABC over Jimmy Kimmel were absolutely appropriate. And I agree. I disagree, because it's too much. The Kentucky Republican said that Brandon Carr has no business weighing in on Kimmel's comments. Now, I probably disagree on that, but yeah, I feel shame, you know. Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky said that federal FCC chair Brandon Carr's comments and threatened to take action against ABC's last week there as appropriate. Carr threatened to walk his rises of ABC's and late night TV show host Jimmy Kimmel makes remarks after Republican remarks response to the assassination of the Congress activist Charlie Kirk. Brandon Carr's got no business weighing in on this, but people have also realized that despite comments that you have the right to say them, you don't have the right to appointment, Paul added. Against ABC polling Jimmy Kimmel Live, eventually for the airways last week, Carr pushed the company to take action, questioning Kimmel's comments. I mean, look, we can't do this the easy way or the hard way, Carr said last week. These companies find their ways to change content, take action. Frankly and Campbell, there's going to be additional work for the FCC ahead. Kimmel's removal sparked outrage. And I agree with that. For Democrats and free speech, activists on that, who argued that the comedian was being unfairly punished for speech that their administration disliked. I agree. But it's too much information right there. Yeah. Paul argued that you'd be fired for being not being so popular. Now, I disagree on that. Anyways, this is television, for goodness sakes. Yeah, he said you have to sell sponsorships. You have to sell commercials. Thank you. And you're losing money. You can be fired. But the government's got no business in it. And the FCC was wrong with the way in. In the interview with Fox News Sunday briefing, President Trump defended Carr, called him the pandemic patriot. I have no idea. He really is, and he is, I think, doing a good job, but he's done nothing but cut out the line, the president said. The response to Kirk's killing that has been sparked the wire despite all the limits of free speech. And when communists can and should take action against employees, dozens of school staffers has been fired or suspended. Yeah, I disagree on that. From comments related to Kirk, I don't know. I want to pay tribute to Kirk. I don't want to be fired from LGBTQ. Sorry. And I don't want to get suspended for the company. Anyways, move on. The comments should have described that firings like these are conquest. While free speech was argued that the comments are protested speech. And yes, I don't really unfriend people, so that's just me. Anyway, Kirk's memorial service is set to take place Sunday, which is today, in Arizona. President Trump, Vice President J.D. Vance, and other Trump administration officials plan to attend. Anyways, Paul is weighing on Trump's social media posts criticizing his political foes. Now, I disagree on that. You know, pushing a military general plan wanted to take action against them. Can't delay any longer. It's killing our promotion and credibility, Trump said in the Saturday Post. They're breaching me twice and breaching me 5 times. Over nothing, just mean be served now. Now, as whether it be appropriate for the president to direct the authority general to target his commercial opposition missions, things like that, Paul said that the law firm in all forms is bad. Using the phrase to describe pro-military moderation possessions. Paul agreed that the cases against Trump were lawfare, but he added that it was wrong that the Republicans do it as well. We need to get politics out of the general sessions as much as we can. I agree with that. Part of it, I don't know. We'll see. But we can't do it more about acknowledging that the kingdom of warfare was Biden. So, yeah, bits and pieces of Biden, we'll see. And so, it was wrong we do it. So it certainly was wrong with Biden and Democrats. Was doing it throughout the country, as Paul said. Democrats would really push back against corporations claim that policies affected the case brought against Trump. Now, that's one of 2 parts what I'm going to say about that. And that's probably bad news for Disney, which I'm a huge fan of, by the way. I'm sorry, but this has to be done. And this is bad news for Disney, because I've been a huge fan of Disney all my life. And some people say, change it from PBS. I'm sorry, I've been a huge fan of PBS all my life. I've been watching Disney and PBS throughout my lifetime. It's not because I want to do this. And Owen said this before I got on the stream with Springcast Days. He said this: I want to get rid of Disney Plus and other things because of what happened. Because that's what I say right now. And that's like unfair for me. I'm sorry, all of you watching this, but this is why I'm a huge fan of Disney and of course PBS and other things. But anyway, this is what happened. Disney faces $3.8 billion loss, but its boycott drew over Jimmy Boo criminal suspension. Now, Disney suffers billions of losses after Spain came to general sparking widespread boycotts. Now, I'm not happy about this suspension, and neither is Disney laws per se, because I'm a huge fan of Disney for a long time, you know. Now, according to this, okay, Disney law required one of the world's leading entertainment companies is facing mounting public criticism and reports with major federal losses after suspension of late night host Jimmy Kimmel. According to cultural base on yesterday, the company's market value reportedly dropped by $3.87 billion overnight. While Disney have not officially confirmed the figures, more outlets have noted the decline in stock prices. The company seems that ABC's decision to suspend Jimmy Kimmel Live following remarks Kimmel was made about commentator George's assassination. Decision of field intense online debate will have just such as boycott Disney. I disagree. Sorry. Trend on X, formerly Twitter, many social media argue the suspension reflects on attack on free speech and comedy. Some subscribers have been announced cancellation of Disney Plus, Hulu, and ABC, while others have pledged to boycott releases of Zootopia 2 and Avatar 3, which I'm not gonna judge Disney. I want to release it now, you know, like say months from now. So I'm not gonna judge Disney, but it's not boycott Disney. It's boycott something else, not Disney. Sorry, like Cartoon Network per se. But anyway, some Cartoon Network's good, some of it's not, so that's just me. But anyway, Kimmel has received public support from nominal figures, including former U.S. President Barack Obama, fellow late night host Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Fallon, Jon Stewart. Critics of Disney's move suggests the company acted under political pressure, pointing to former President Donald Trump's past remarks against Kimmel. Now, I disagree. The Blacklight attended Beyond Lemires, actress Mansley, known for She-Hulk, Attorney of Law, arguing followers on Instagram to cancel subscription to Disney Plus, Hulu and ESPN. This is a disagreeing moment right there. After Mission College that was announced on X, they have ended her Disney Plus subscription, which I disagree of. While Will Whelan called a nationwide down to their subscription on Blue Sky to protest the company's attachments. Yeah. Why? Kimmel was contract at ABC expires next year. Well, even talks of they say this regardless of future. Since 2003, he has hosted Jimmy Kimmel Live in the 11:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time slot. Anyways, and also provided major network events, including the Academy Awards. Pressure to remove Kimmel streaming from Nexstar, which owned 32 ABC affiliates, and it's pressuring $6.2 billion merger with Tegna. Nexstar announced it would not air Kimmel's show after comments he made about Charlie Kirk's summary information. FCC Commissioner Brian Carr and also threatened to review ABC's license, despite the fact the FCC did not have authority to revoke it over such matters. Sacred Broadcasting, and another representative media group, later said it would also prevent Kimmel from across 34 ABC affiliates. In total, nearly a quarter of ABC's 250 affiliates dropped his show. Disney companies may harm both the requirements and values and suggested potential targeting could extend ABC view. No, that is not true. I disagree with that. I'm sorry, but this is not true. Okay, let's move on to the last news report, and then we'll move on to the last thing we're going to talk about, and then that should be it to talk about the news. Now, this happened recently, okay? Man arrested after drive-by shooting ABC TV station in San Marcos, California. And this is sad to me, you know, and that was, it was very harsh to the ABC 10 News reports. But anyway, a man who has been arrested at drive-in shooting an ABC TV station in San Marcos and Puerto police. Hambo on WebShow, 64-year-old, was arrested early Saturday, which is yesterday, and charged with the felonies that include shooting into automatic building, assaulted with a deadly weapon, and now discharged with a firearm. Sacramento Police Department told NPR in a statement he was booked in the Sacramento County Main Jail on Saturday, which is yesterday, released this afternoon after posting a $200,000 bail, said Racial County Sheriff's Office spokesperson Sergeant Amar Garnett. Last Friday, around 1:30 p.m. local time, police responded to reports of shots fired in the 400 block of Broadway, where the ABC 10 TV station located. At least 3 bullets were fired in the window of the TV station's lobby, according to police. After the shots were fired, the vehicle drove off. The building was occupied at the time of the shooting, which no one was injured, police also said. ABC 10 is affiliate of ABC, is owned by Tegna. Wow. The shootings occurred the day after protesters demonstrated outside of the station and Jimmy Kimmel's show being suspended by ABC. But it's unclear whether there are any connections between the shooting and the show's suspension and the protest. Anyway, let me close this up right now. Anyways, and police told NPR the motive is under investigation. Tegna is grateful employers were unharmed and are safe. Wow. Spokesperson told the company told NPR yesterday. And the company has also maintained increased security at ABC 10. Spokesperson said, "We were the arrest connected in the shots fired in the KXTV building yesterday and continued to cooperate with the police." The spokesperson said, "Primarily to ensure our employees' safety and well-being and continue to carry out the mission to serve our community with critical local news and information." Journalists and organizations could convene at the shooting, including the National Association of Black Journalists chapter, which called the shooting heartbreaking and unacceptable. As fellow journalists, the members of the Sacramento chapter of the National Association of Black Journalists, we want to be clear. Violence against members and the member meaning violence against the entire community. The organization said, statement in the social media, "Our hearts are with the impact and we call on the entire community to join us in lifting up, supporting and protecting the journalists who serve you every single day." Exactly. Home measure is scheduled to appear in the court Tuesday, September 21st, which is this upcoming Tuesday, at 3 p.m. local time. It is unclear whether he will retain legal counsel at this time. And that's it for this news for today. Now let's talk about some major updates of what happened to Remix Prom. Now, I don't know what happened. It's been happening for the past couple of weeks. Like 2 months ago. I don't... Like months ago. I think it happened... It's been happening since 3 months ago, I believe. And think it was major flaws for Remix Prom. I'm sorry, but that needs to stop, okay? I will have to wrap things up here. Actually, it's been here, 3 months ago. Yeah, it was 3 months ago. I was right. And what I'm talking about here, and I will talk about here in major, like a Hans video on my main channel, but I have to talk about this. He said, and I quote, okay? "Yes, folks, I'll be the executive producer. Yes, folks, I'll be announcing tonight that I'll be stepping down as a creative consultant from Elgin Fridays because I'm focusing you guys and blah, blah, blah." No, that is untrue. That is untrue. I want him to still be a part of the creative consultant thing. And then months later, he rejected the idea and just said, "I'm no longer going to be making videos on YouTube." And the post show that I do here was scrap altogether. And he will be retiring from YouTube. I'm like, first of all, he's not going to retire from YouTube. Secondly, that is basically false. I want to still be part of the PPT YouTube channel, I'm sorry, but he needs to continue. I want him to continue doing YouTube whenever he can. It's just my personal opinion. I want to still do that, you know. And then about over a week ago, like Tuesday, like September 12th, saying this. I want to update the retirement here on YouTube. Well, yes, it's true. I still won't make any more videos. I'm officially retired from YouTube, but still do streams on this point forward. Yeah, that is false. That is completely false. I want him out of retirement forever once it's over with. I'm sorry, but this is false, you know. So, I mean, the whole thing will continue as soon as I do the honest videos on my Rumble account. Stay tuned. I will have more details on this, but there you go. And with that, that's all that I want to talk about for today. And that will episode for this Crazy Bunch Web Show episode number 124. Hope you enjoy it. Stay in the next one, babe. A brand new episode of Crazy Bunch Web Show episode number 125, the 125th celebration. I'm not sure we're going to be about as of yet. We'll see what happens. Coming up next, there will be a bedtime stories episode on. Did I do my boot move? Okay. This DVD. Anyway, here we go. Baby Bear, what do you see? Now, excuse me, I gotta eat my dinner, and I get ready for this bedtime story episode for you guys to enjoy. Till next time, so just by baby, women, Susan out. See ya.